couple weeks ago, we were wandering through Target and they had a couple of these on sale. Oh, wow. Hi, let's get started, it says. I have to register my kit. I'm trying not to show you guys what I'm doing because, I don't know, the spitting thing always grossed me out when I watch DNA test videos. Cool. All right, we'll check back when I have results. Hi, so before we get into these results, I just wanted to say, I know that with DNA tests, there's a lot of privacy concerns these days, and how I basically circumvented those concerns was I ended up buying this test at Target, so I didn't use the 23andMe portal to buy this Ancestry test at all. Therefore, they don't have my credit card number, they don't have me specifically linked to their profile at all. I also set up a dummy email account, so the email account that is associated with the 23andMe portal is not my email account. I gave 23andMe a fake name, which was very cleverly thought of as Jane Doe. My name is Katie. It is not actually Jane, but that's what you're gonna see in these results. So basically, 23andMe has my DNA, but they don't know that it's linked to me. I didn't give a social security number away. I didn't use my real name. I didn't even use my real IP address to look at any of these results. So if you were on the fence about doing a DNA test, possibly something to think about, you can definitely use your DNA, but it doesn't necessarily have to be linked to you if you jump through the right hoops. And then also, I'm kind of more of an optimist. The way that I look at it, if my DNA can help somebody discover something about themselves, or even be used as a force for greater good in humanity, like creating a vaccine in the future, or catching criminals based off of my DNA, I think I'm okay with that. So that is something to think about if you are looking to do a DNA test. Just make sure that you are taking the right precautions, and there you are. Now then, let's just jump into these results. So I just got a notification that I got my DNA test results back, which is very exciting. Okay, let's see. What I'm basically expecting from this is a lot of Northern European. Basically, my entire family's history is like British, Irish, Scandinavian, German, and then possibly, I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently a family rumor way back when was that my great-great-grandmother was fully native. Great-great-grandmother? My grandpa's grandma, great-great-great-grandmother was fully native. So that would be like barely anything anyway, but we're gonna check and see what the results say. Let's go. Okay, oh my God, 99.8% European. Okay, this is actually about what I thought. 47.8% British and Irish, so like basically half British and Irish, which is about what I was expecting. 18.7% Scandinavian, 12.7% French and German, 0.8% Finnish, 0.4% Spanish and Portuguese, 19% broadly Northwestern European, we're getting to the tiniest little numbers now. 0.2% broadly Southern European, 0.2% broadly European, 0.1% North African and Arabian, and 0.1% broadly Northern East African. Very interesting. Okay, so the biggest one is 47.8% British and Irish. Literally like half of me is British and Irish. View report. In the last 200 years, your ancestors may have lived in the following locations. Oh, cool, okay. We found evidence of your recent ancestry in the following regions. Darker regions represent places where you have DNA in common with more people who report ancestry from that particular region. It's mostly the UK, like it shows like a map, and in the map it shows the UK is really dark, and then Ireland is like a light blue. So let's see. Okay, oh my gosh, it goes into the individual cities. Yo, that is crazy. United Kingdom has 165 administrative regions, and we found the strongest evidence of your ancestry in the following 10 regions. Greater London, London's number 1. Merseyside is number 2. Greater Manchester, West Midlands, South Yorkshire, West Yorkshire, Glasgow City, Tyne and Wear, Lancashire, and Cardiff. So, the biggest cities. Ireland has 26 administrative regions, and we found the strongest evidence of your ancestry in the following 4 regions: County Cork, County Kerry, County Dublin, and County Leitrim. We got Scandinavian, that's the other big one. View report. In the last 200 years, your ancestors may have lived in the following locations. It's mostly Norway. This is expected. Norway has 19 administrative regions, and we found the strongest evidence of your ancestry in the following 3 regions: Hordaland, Oslo, and Nordland. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this, send this to my dad, he'd love this. The most interesting thing about all of this is that my mom's history I know a lot more of, but my dad's more of a mystery because he didn't know a lot about his own family. So I feel like a lot of this information comes from my dad, and I don't like, it's just enlightening, I guess. The 12.7% of your ancestry is French and German, and by that it means German. So specifically Saxony. So that's very cool. Ancestry timeline. Ooh, what's this? Okay. How many generations ago was your most recent ancestor for each population? So British and Irish was 1 to 3 generations. French and Germans 2 to 4. Scandinavians 3 to 5. Finnish, Spanish, and Portuguese, North African, and Arabian is like 6 to 8. So that's like quite a ways back. Yeah. Ooh, I have 997 DNA relatives.
In their data?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot. Let's see how much of me is Neanderthal. Neanderthals were ancient humans who interbred with modern humans before becoming extinct 40,000 years ago. This report tells you how many of your ancestry can be traced back to Neanderthals. You have 267 Neanderthal variants, which means this is less than 65% of 23andMe customers. Some of your traits may be influenced by having Neanderthal variants. Okay, this is interesting. So it tells you Neanderthal variants, right? Okay. So it gives like straight hair is one thing. 0 variants found in my DNA for having straight hair. Less likely to sneeze after eating dark chocolate. I don't have that variant either. Less back hair. I have that variant. So you have 1 Neanderthal variant associated with having less back hair. So apparently Neanderthals didn't have much back hair. That was passed down genetically, and I also don't have back hair.
You don't have any back hair?
Yeah. I have 2 Neanderthal variants associated with my height. So that is interesting as well. Oh, my maternal haplogroup. Let's see what this is. My maternal haplogroup is H6A1A. Your maternal line stems from a branch of haplogroup H called H6. Members of haplogroup H6 all descend from a single woman who likely lived approximately 11,000 years ago in the Middle East. Your maternal haplogroup H6A1A traces back to a woman who lived approximately 7,000 years ago. That's nearly 280 generations ago. So the information that was provided to me from taking this DNA test was really interesting, and it confirmed that the rumors about my native great-great-great-grandmother are in fact not true at all. I still don't really know much about her, and it looks like based off of my genetic information, it kind of looks like she probably had some kind of German or French or even more British ancestry to add to my genetic soup. And the teeniest, tiniest little bit of my ancestry was North African and Arabian and broadly Northern East African. And I don't know anything about that piece of my family. Obviously, that's a teeny tiny piece of the pie. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna know anything about that piece of my family, but I did find it interesting to see it in these results. I actually wanted to show you guys one more really cool thing that you get or you can get when you take a DNA test like this. Regardless if you buy just the Ancestry version of the 23andMe DNA test or you get the health version, which is significantly more expensive, 23andMe will actually provide you with your raw DNA file. And with this raw DNA file, you can actually go to several different websites and input this raw DNA file into them, and they can produce even more results about your DNA than 23andMe can even give you. So I'm gonna show you one of these websites right now, but I recommend looking in the description bar below for even more of these websites just to see what other really cool resources you have available to you once you take a DNA test. The one that I'm about to show you is called Promethease. And the best way that I can describe Promethease is if you compare the two, the 23andMe health report, if you pay like the $125 or whatever it is to get the health report, that report on 23andMe is kind of like a picture book. It gives you a very brief overall picture of your health based on your genetics, but it doesn't really go like super duper in depth. It is very easy to understand, however. Promethease does the exact same thing, but it's dense reading. It is like the Wall Street Journal of your health report compared to the picture book that is 23andMe's health report. It's really good though because it gives you all of these scientific data and the actual studies to back up what they're saying. So you know where this information is coming from. You can verify this information yourself. And then you can also take this health report and bring it to your doctor and talk to them about it, talk about your options, and see basically how these genetics could affect you. So anyway, we're gonna jump right in and I'm gonna show you what Promethease looks like. So when you first open up Promethease, you kind of have to go through the check boxes that you basically understand everything that you're about to see and about to do could affect your overall health and understanding of your body. If you're aware of that, click I agree. And then from there, you can upload your raw DNA file depending on where you got your DNA test done. I've already done this step, so what I'm gonna do is I am just gonna click on the 3 dots and click on View Report. When you first do this, I highly recommend going through the tutorial and kind of understanding what these results are showing you. I've already done this, so I'm gonna click skip. And I'm just gonna share my exact results with you guys. I also just want to jump in here and say that Promethease is paid. You have to pay to use this. However, it is $12. So it is not very expensive, especially compared to the cost of getting your health report from 23andMe. This is a lot cheaper and you get a lot more information than what you can get on 23andMe, even though you might have to understand what you're reading a little bit more heavily. It's worth noting that when you get these results, there's gonna be a lot of bad stuff, there's gonna be a lot of good stuff, and then there's just gonna be a lot of neutral stuff. The bad stuff is highlighted in red, the good stuff is highlighted in green, and then the neutral stuff is just gray. They're just kind of traits. The default display that you see when you input this information into Promethease is basically telling you this information from the highest order of magnitude down, which is basically just telling you that these are the most important genes that you might wanna look at. But depending on your magnitude scale, it might not mean much or it might mean a lot. Like I said, follow the tutorial and it'll make a lot more sense. So looking at my results, based on my genes, I have a 1.9 times increased risk for coronary artery disease, 2 times the risk for Alzheimer's disease, 1.7 times increased obesity risk. And honestly, these are not surprising things, but I'm actually really excited about these results, which I know might sound kind of crazy. The reason I'm so excited about this though, is that based off of my raw genetic file, the worst genes I have are, yeah, they're not like super good, but they're all also very highly linked to lifestyle choices. So as long as I keep myself relatively healthy and I make sure I exercise and eat right and just do good by my body, a lot of these genes might not make themselves known anyway, which is a really cool thing. The other cool thing that you can do with Promethease is you can filter it so you only see the good things and you only see the neutral things. So if I don't even want to see the bad things at all, I can just untick that box and then it'll only show me the good things, which is always a really exciting thing. My genetics tell me that I have a lighter skin color and a lighter eye color, which is true. I'm more likely to think cilantro tastes like soap, which honestly I don't. I freaking love cilantro, which also just goes to show you that even though it says this is more likely based off of your genetic information, it might not be true. It might not be real, which is why I think it's really important that you go into this health report knowing that it could just be something that you should take with a grain of salt. One thing that was very interesting that I saw in the good stuff that Promethease was telling me was that I had a higher chance of living a long time. 1.5 to 2.7 times more likely to live to 100. And this information actually came up multiple different times on this health report when I was reading through it originally. And I found that really interesting because I do think there's some kind of basis to that. My grandpa lived to be 95 years old. His mom lived to be 96, and I'm not as aware of how old the relatives were previous to that, but there is definitely, I think, some kind of genetic link to a long life on my mom's side of the family, which is really cool. But yeah, that's basically the big things that I got from my Promethease report. There's definitely some information in there that I want to dive into a little bit more. If you guys want to see updates on this, I could definitely do that. I don't know if that's going to be of interest to you, so you should let me know if that is of interest to you. And like I said, I'm going to be leaving a lot of resources in the description bar below if you want to possibly do this for yourself. Overall, I'm actually really happy that I did this. I thought it was really enlightening. Even though I knew a lot of my ancestry information, it was still really cool to see it in the map form and then be linked to my genetic relatives, which I thought was really, really cool. And yeah, basically, if you guys are on the fence about doing this, I found it to be worth it, and I found it to be very interesting information. So definitely do your research, figure out if you think it would be worth it to you, and let me know in the comments down below if you guys have done any of these DNA tests before. What were your results? What did you discover about yourself or your family? Let me know that information, if you're comfortable sharing it, of course, in the comments down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.